You're watching a training video for the Full Control Quality Program created by Lochran Consulting, LLC. This video will cover global settings for the program, and at the end of the video, you will know how to add or change key elements and the owners of those key elements, how to add or change observation sources, add or change criticality levels, adjust deadlines for setting target dates, and adjust maximum deadlines for target completion dates, and how dates past this limit are handled. First, you will notice that I'm logged in as a regulator. Only regulators and above will be able to access the global settings. Begin by clicking on the Global Settings button. Here is a submenu with options for key elements and owners, observation sources, criticality levels, and target dates. Let's go through them in order. We will click on key elements and owners. This is self-explanatory, but I will add one to demonstrate. So if I wanted to add another key element, this is exactly how I would do it. I have the key element number in the first column, the second is the key element name, and then the last column is the key element owner. Note that the first two columns are required and the last is not. So the key elements and owners are used when new observations are created. So what you enter into that list that I just showed you will appear as options in the drop-down menu for key elements. Allow me to demonstrate. So if I go into New Observations and I click the drop-down for Key Element and I scroll down to the bottom, you will see that 19 computer equipment and owner Joel Lochran is in there. So if I choose this and then tab off of it, then Joel Lochran is automatically populated into the observation owner because I entered that into the list that I showed earlier. So I'm just going to escape out of this to remove the record, and I'm going to go back into my global settings and key elements and owners, and I'm just going to get rid of number 19 because it's not real. Okay, next on my list is the observation sources. So just like the key elements and owners, this will allow me to change the options given for the observation sources. So to demonstrate, I will just add a new source here called new source and close this. And then when I go into a new observation and I choose the source, new source is there as an option. Again, I'm going to go back in there and remove that because it's not real. And next, we will go down to criticality levels here. And just like the previous two we just went over, this is adding to the drop-down list of options for observations. So my first is the criticality abbreviation, and I have numbers in here, but this could be any way that you would like to abbreviate it. It's just a quick way to enter it. So I'm going to put a 4 in there and give it a test deficiency for the criticality name. So the biggest part of this is the criticality name. After that, the short definition and criticality long definitions here, those are just used in the report that shows what they're referring to. So if I want to demonstrate this, I'll do it here. And when I close this and go into new observation, under criticality, you'll see that I now have 4 of them. And again, you can choose any of them, but if you type it in, that's when it will show up. So that's the reason for putting in the abbreviation, is for a quick way to see it and view it. And then if I don't know what it is, or for people who don't know what they are, they can choose this, click this little question mark, and it will show the criticality rating guide. And then on the criticality rating guide, you will notice down here our test deficiencies. So this is adding them as we add that information. So the long definition is really a list of bullet points, and it doesn't really show it very well on the global settings. So I'll go back here, and to see these bullet points a little bit better, what I'll do is I'll expand this and make it bigger, and then you can see these different bullet points in here, and that's how you could add them more easily. The last three things that I demonstrated allowed you to change options in the drop-down lists, but what I'm about to show you will allow you to change business rules. So again, we will go into global settings, and this time we will choose target dates. And this gives us a submenu with two options: target date deadline and target completion date. Let's start with target date deadline. As it says, this is the amount of time allowed between the creation of an observation and when the target date must be set. So let's go ahead and click this. And within here, it will show us the type again, target date set, and then a full description. So here, the time frame between the creation date of an observation and when the target date must be set. Note that this is not when the corrective action must be complete. So in other words, if an observation is created on a Monday and this is currently set for 1 week, then the observation owner then has 1 week to set the target date before beginning to be penalized. Note that if they are past that target date, past the limit, and they have not yet set it, they will start to show up on the missed target dates action required section. So all 8 of these have missed the target dates between the time that the target date was set. And the last option within global settings is also under target dates, and that is for target completion date. This is the maximum amount of time that users can give themselves to complete a corrective action without regulator approval. So when we open this, again, it's the time between an observation creation date and the target for completing the corrective action. So if we open it on January 1st, then you would have until April 1st, so in this case 3 months, you would have to set that limit. That would be the longest amount of time that you could give yourself to complete the observation. So if we wanted to change this, we could change it to any number here, and the frequency we could change to days, months, quarters, weeks, or years. So I will leave it as 3 months because that's the current business rule. And then this drop down here, the Beyond Limit Action drop down, will allow you to set what happens if the user tries to set it beyond that time. So currently, regulator approval is required. So it is able to be set past the 3-month period. The person could set it 1 year in advance if they wanted to. The regulator would just have to approve it. If we change this drop down to not allowed, this will completely not allow the user to set it beyond the 3-month time period. So to demonstrate that, I will leave it as not allowed, and then I will create a new observation and just enter some information here. And then this is observation 17-19. And let's go ahead and make myself the owner just to make this easy. And then I will go into my observations, and I will go to the last one of 17-19. And here, my target completion date, I'm going to set for April 2nd, 2018. So 1 year in advance. So what will happen is it will say, action denied. You cannot set a target date later than 3 months from the observation creation date. The date will be set to the maximum allowed date of 7/2/2017. So you can see that what this is going to do is automatically make it the upper limit of what I would be able to set it at. Now, if the drop down would have been set to regulator approval required, and we will go back into my observation 17-19, and I'm going to try to change this again to 1 year and 3 months out. So now you can see that the message is a little bit different. So approval required. If you set a target date later than 3 months from today, super user or regulator approval is required. Do you want to request approval? If you choose yes, an approval request will be made. If you choose no, the maximum date will be set for you. So again, you could choose yes and have it put the request in to a regulator, or you could hit no and it would automatically set the date to what we just had it at. We'll choose yes and it will tell us that the request has been entered. Thank you for watching the video, and if you have any questions about anything discussed in the video or want to discuss custom software development, feel free to contact me at joel@lochranconsulting.com or visit me at lochranconsulting.com.